Yo, how's everybody doing? So I decided to jump on this live stream because I heard about this whole Deno thing coming up, Deno versus Node.js. So I thought I'd go over a couple of things just to educate people who may not be aware of what's going on there. And then I'll give you my 2 cents. If you know my philosophy of development, which goes back 30 years, you know what I'm thinking about this overall. So, can everybody hear me clearly? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know, or just make the comment, and then we'll jump into it. How many eyeballs? Well, I got 5 on there. That's weird. Okay, 18. So I guess everybody can hear me clearly. If so, let me know. All right, what's going on here? We got 28 people. I just did this impromptu, so I'm not expecting too many people to show up. So let me just jump into it. For people who are going to miss it, they'll just get it in the replay. And then I'll do a short Q&A, and then I got to go because I'm very busy now. I'm getting ready to move. If you notice, the place is empty a little bit. The place is empty. You know what? I'll wait until the 4:15. Yeah, I said it was going to be 4:15, so I'll wait till the 4:15. And then we'll jump into it. We'll get some, is it time to learn Deno? Here we go. Short answer is I don't think so, but we will get into it, and then we can talk about it just a little bit. We're up to 57. Usually I'm getting 150. Actually, usually I'm getting like 200, 300 people on the stream. Can you create transfer? Stef, I want to purchase your freelance course, but I don't have credit card or PayPal. Can you create normal transfer options? Yeah, send an email to info at studioweb.com and mention this. And are you trying to buy the freelancer course at Killer Sites or at StudioWeb? At StudioWeb, we have more options there. That might be able to do it. All right. So, yeah, Robbie's on the ball, this guy. Smash that like button. All right, what are we up to? We're up to 73. Okay, that's enough. So what I'm going to do now, you know what? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to jump into the article that I found, and then I'm going to comment on it, and we'll take it from there. All right, here's something I found on Medium, and let's just read it, and then we'll comment along the way. And that's it. Let me just mute the pop-ups of the questions. All right, so let's go. Node.js, here are the most important differences. So it comes down to security, the window object, and TypeScript support. So I can tell you right off the top, it has native TypeScript support. It now accesses the JavaScript window object. If you've done my JavaScript course, you know what the window object is. It's there are basic categories of the object schema, if you will, in JavaScript, and one of them is the window object. I guess with Node, you didn't have access to that. So there you go. So then you got security. Now the security issues are talking about how apparently Node has some security issues where through NPM. That's one of the reasons why I didn't get into Node myself, because I didn't like how messy NPM is, which is their package manager. I didn't like it at all. And apparently it's a security problem. I don't know. I haven't done it. That's what this guy is arguing. Well, I'll get into questions, Q&A about MMA and so on later on. But let me just jump back to the article. All right, so we'll read and we'll comment. Is Deno the new Node.js, or is it a nice alternative? In this article, we go into some important differences. Have fun. Okay, the history of Deno. Okay, so basically this guy, Ryan, who worked on Node since 2009, he decided he didn't like Node too much for a bunch of reasons here. I'll link to this article once this is archived so you can look at it. So he decided that he's going to create his own runtime called Deno. Now, apparently, if I recall, it was written in Rust. So let me just jump through the article here. But should all Node.js developers now fear that Ryan Dahl himself has created a competition and Node will be replaced? According to this author, he says the answer seems to be no, as Dahl presented it in another talk you can find in the link. So again, I'll link to this after this is published. As Dahl himself says in his talk, Deno is still new At the current time, more precisely version 1.0, never jump into version 1.0 software unless it's significantly better than previous, like order of magnitudes better. I don't consider this to be the case. Node, on the other hand, is already a bit older, and it's essentially both have the same purpose. And essentially both have the same purpose. Well, not just Node, by the way. I am seeing, and what you're going to see as you become more experienced in your career as a developer, you're going to see more and more technologies come out that basically replicate the functionality of already established technologies. Sometimes it's warranted, most of the time it is not. I can't tell you how many promising technologies that have come out and have disappeared, even though they came out with a lot of hype and fanfare. So one of the things that came out, for example, I thought it was very interesting. Swift was ported to the server through the Katoda project, which was an IBM-headed thing, and they wrote books on it, and it looked really good because Swift can run super fast, but not as fast as C++ without all the headaches of C++. But it went nowhere. IBM dumped it after a couple of years. So you never know what's going to work. Now, the problem with the Swift Katoda project is that it was trying to replace so many other technology stacks that are quite capable. Yes, Swift Katoda had a lot of advantages, but you had Python Django, and you had Node.js, you got PHP Laravel, you got all kinds of different solutions out there, Java Spring. And though Katoda had certain advantages, it wasn't an order of magnitude better. It wasn't so much better that people were going to drop everything to jump into Katoda, even though it had significant advantages. Usually, to replace a tried and true technology, you have to have something that's radically different. So I wouldn't be too concerned about anything coming out to replace Node, even though it looks like it could be better. Let me underline it could, because this is a version 1 of the software. So he says, yeah, they're Java runtime, so we can use JS outside the browser, e.g. for web servers, but how things will look between Deno and Node in a few years is hardly anyone can tell. Yeah, it's still version 1, dudes. Okay, let's get into it. Deno and Node under the hood. Node.js is based on C++, uses the V8 engine to execute JavaScript code. V8 was developed by Google for Chrome, so it could run Chrome faster. Deno relies on the V8 engine, but instead of C++, Deno is also based on Rust, a programming language that is supposed to deliver similar performance, but also place a special emphasis on security, memory access error, buffer overflows, etc. So basically, by implementing Rust, the author of Deno wants to make Deno a little bit more secure than Node. So there's some basic code, so you can spin up your server, etc. We'll skip all that. Let's jump to the next section. Goodbye NPM, hello ES6 support. Another thing with the security of our app is NPM, Node package manager. I think it is. It not only does using NPM often result in huge Node module folders. Yes, I've seen that. When I saw that, guys, years ago, when we were looking at Node several years ago, and we were going to port StudioWeb to Node, and I looked at NPM. I saw what a mess that was, and I said, okay, I'm out. And I went back to good old PHP Laravel, which is clean, simple, works, no issues. Because whenever you have a real messy architecture, that's just begging for headaches and bugs. And apparently, according to these guys, I don't know, I don't use it, but according to this guy, security issues. To the extent, a very well-known Node guy, the guy who created this Deno thing, he felt compelled to have to write something new. So anyway, if we use NPM to install a package for our Node app, it can theoretically do something else on the sly. In the past, there has been a scandal with NPM packages, which, for example, spied out user data. Deno does not rely on NPM at all. Instead, we import our libraries via the URL as shown here below. Boom, 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 standard stuff. The library we want to use is downloaded with it the first time it is executed and then cached. Okay, so that's cool, fair enough. Okay, the window object, let's jump to this. All right, so the window object is the parent object in the web browser. Again, you don't know any of this, do my JavaScript course. I teach you about all that, the JavaScript object hierarchy. Those are part of the key fundamentals I talk about all the time, from which some of the most important functions in JavaScript are derived. Yeah, I remember when I was first learning how to do JavaScript back in the 90s when it first came out, I would I remember the things that I loved to do was mess around with the window object and the browser object, and we could do stupid things like make the whole web browser shake on the person's desktop and stuff. But anyway, that just popped in my mind. Let's go back here. Okay, one of the methods of the or functions rather of the window object is fetch, a native alternative library. So anyway, Deno implements the window object, and so you can do stuff I suppose you cannot easily do or do with Node. All right, so finally, TypeScript support out of the box. TypeScript is, of course, a matter of taste, celebrated by many, but also seen by some as unnecessary. But what can I say is that both sides can be happy with Deno because Deno offers TypeScript support straight out of the box. But of course, it also supports classic JavaScript. So there you go. So that's the end of that article. Let me give you my 2 cents in summary, and then I'll do a little bit of Q&A before I leave you guys, because as I said, I'm going to move. So here's a classic example of an interesting technology, potentially, but it's a 1.0. I like the concepts. I like the idea of cleaning it up and making it simpler, it's more secure. That's always a good thing. Is this going to be a threat to Node anytime soon? I would be very, very reluctant that you'd see this thing have any traction within the next 2 years. Not because I'm crapping on it. It looks like it could be a very good product, but it's a 1.0. But simply because I'm not sure how advantageous people are going to feel that is relative to using classic Node. So the author of this piece suggests that it's not going to be an issue. Even the guy who created Deno says it's not going to be an issue. It's not a threat to Node. So again, it's one of those technologies that I would put on the far end of Need2Nerd, meaning that if you have some free time, you don't want to play Apex or something, or you don't have any dates on Friday night, maybe you can learn a little Deno just to see what's going on there, to improve your nerd nudo, if you will. That's about it. I don't see there's going to be anybody clamoring for Deno coders all of a sudden, so don't sweat it. It's on a Need2Nerd. It's on the Need2Nerd silo, meaning learn it if you have to, if something comes up. I'm doubting things will come up. You know what you're much better off learning? If you're a Node.js programmer, for example, and instead of learning that, I would say, you know what? Maybe learn some regular expressions. This is a meta language, if you will, but all the languages support Java, C#, JavaScript, PHP, even Ruby, and Perl. And this is the ultimate way to parse text, to parse, text parsing. I forget the word strings. There you go, parse strings of, most of the time when you're writing apps, business apps, you're just manipulating strings of text, right? Regular expressions is one of the weirdest languages. It's like its own sub-language that you can use. It's a pattern matching language. It's very powerful, though. It's very powerful. You may use this 3% of the time, but it's good to know at least the basics of this. Regex, pattern matching, fantastic book. I would say learn this instead of Deno right now, unless something comes up specific to Deno. And if you're worried, if you're a total beginner, you want to learn the foundations of web design, coding, my book, I wrote this a few years ago, but it's because it covers fundamentals, still 100% accurate. As you see I wrote in this book, a few years back, I said, before jQuery was out of favor, I said, you know what? This is jQuery, don't get too concerned about it. So, and finally, if you are an intermediate to advanced level coder and you want to really up your game as an overall developer, this book I highly recommend. It's for Java, but the principles in this refactoring book apply to any language, really. It will turn you from, if you're a level 5 superstar, this will turn you into a level 7 superstar coder. Link below if you want. So there you go. That's my 3 book suggestions. And I hope, I hate Red Dead. Yeah, Rob is right. I hate it too, but it's like your vitamins. It's like castor oil. It's like spinach. It may not taste good, but it's extremely powerful. And it's a good back pocket skill, So let's answer a few questions. How are we doing here? What are we? We're only 14 minutes in. Good. All right. So what's Stevie have to say? I have no dates of any day, Friday house, so I assume we'll be proficient in everything soon. There you go. See, if you become proficient in everything and you start doing really well with your freelance or your business or your jobs, then you're going to get all kinds of dates, right? So it's great. All right, so let's scroll back up. We have some questions here. All right, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah. So is it time to learn Deno? I answered that question, I think. How to approach it. Don't get caught in tutorial hell, guys. Don't get caught in tutorial hell. Do your, my premise of my channel, more than any other, is to get you up and running, getting a job right away. And that means not getting caught in tutorial hell, trying to collect certificates, doing this tutorial, that tutorial, this tutorial. It could be a lot easier for me. I could just put out tutorials on all these new frameworks, language, and start selling little courses. Much easier. And I would have unlimited content, but it's not the way to go. The way to go, based on my last 30 years of experience, 25, of being a developer, you learn your basics, you do one or two little project tutorials, then you go out there, do some freelance, and then get a job, make money, learn as you get paid, learn as you earn, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be a much better coder. If you go out and start doing real work, and you do that for real work for a year, versus a person who does a bunch of tutorials for a year, at the end of the year, you're going to be here in your skill, and he or she is going to still be here, guaranteed. So I'm just saying that. Okay, what else, Eric? Just email me if you're having trouble with that. Check out the StudioWeb store. Maybe you're trying to use a killer site store. Killer site store has been around for 800,000 years. It's worked fantastic, but it was an old store. That store was put up when I was still selling, forget about DVDs, CDs with my courses on there. So we created a brand new StudioWeb store, which is based on the StudioWeb app and digital download, so forth. So if you can still buy from the Killer Site store, but you're better off with the StudioWeb store. What's going on? Boxing life. You're the man. Dev by day, fighter by night. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I used to be. I used to love fighting. You have no idea how much. Not people in the street, although I was a bouncer, but like in terms of the ring, I used to love that. Yeah, you asked me, did I do MMA? Not technical MMA, because MMA became a term. That term sort of came about when I was sort of like coasting out of it in terms of the hardcore stuff. I was doing just the boxing that time, but I did MMA-ish type of sparring quite a bit. That's how I got my nose broken a couple of times. I just started learning Node. Now there's Deno. Do not worry about it, Plaban. You're fine. Learn Node. If you want to learn Node, learn Node. There's plenty of jobs. Node's not going anywhere. Just keep going. Don't worry about it. What do you think about getting AWS Solutions Architect as an additional skill, or is it hype? Look at the job opportunities. That's another one of my principles. I gotta really, after I'm finished my move, I'm gonna put together my video FAQ, which is gonna be all about how to learn, how to earn with code and development skills, and how to think about this. You can learn to think with that perspective, then all the nervousness, all the indecisions in your life will be gone. So yeah, just look at the jobs, look at the job opportunities to make your decision then. Yeah, what else do we got here? Hello, Didi. I hope everything is well. Tell me about the freelance course. The freelance course is a course that teaches you how to monetize your skills and to start a freelance business. It's step by step. It comes with 5 templates. People love it. It just makes it really easy. It's video, audio, and templates, and applies to it's really structured towards coding, but it's universal freelance, because I used to do freelance graphic design. I did freelance 3D animation a few times, but mostly coding and development. I did front end web design, and then web development, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's universal, the freelance principles for the most part. But I teach you how to write contracts, how to negotiate the contracts, how to manage your clients. Often, what dictates whether or not you're going to fail with a particular project as a freelancer, or even working for large organizations, how you manage expectations and the original spec that you develop for the project. That is going to have a huge impact in terms of the success or failure of the project, or more importantly, the perceived success or failure of the project, right? which is all that counts. Hey, Colleen, I hope all is well, my friend from Portland. I heard it's slower for HTTP requests than Node. Deno, it could very well be. Any 1.0 technology, really be very reticent about jumping into it unless it is transformative. When's the last time I saw a transformative tech? HTML5 was transformative, I think. Another transformative technology. I'm gonna really go back here. I'm gonna really date myself. When web app development went from Perl CGI or C CGI to page-based development with active server page. Microsoft actually was the pioneer in that space, and then everybody went to the page-based development. That was a game changer. That was like when you went from traditional web development to the page-based with active server pages, and then JSP came out, and so on and so forth. That was huge. That was huge. It made a big difference. Immense productivity gains. That was one of those rare exceptions where it was worth jumping ship from what was tried and true at the time. I don't see Deno as being that big of a leap. I see it as potentially a nice addition, but I don't see it as a big leap forward, okay? JavaScript sucks, and for your good pick, a low-level language. I'm not sure what he's saying there. What's a good low-level language? Well, yes, I guess C, C++, assembly, but you know, exactly. It's like it's not necessarily the best solutions, right? Sports cars are great on the track, but they're not so good in the woods, right? Judo wrestling, that's a very good one. I actually prefer wrestling. I did both, by the way. And back in the day, for about a year or so, I trained with the Canadian wrestling team. I wasn't a member. I was too old. I was like 18 when I trained, 18 to 19, something like that. And they said, "Oh, you're too old." They wanted, but I trained with these guys who were, in the top 3, 4, 5 in the world. And I find for street fighting, wrestling is better because you don't have to rely on the clothing. Whereas judo is very gi oriented. It's about getting a hold of that gi, which is the uniform. And if you get a hold of that gi properly, it becomes a big part of the weapon, if you will, the arsenal in terms of taking somebody out. It relies on that a lot. Whereas wrestling, it doesn't. It's just grabbing arms and stuff. So if you're interested in street fighting, I would go wrestling. But they're both kind of fun. I think that there's more injury with judo because the flips, the throws, and the takedowns are much more dynamic. So do what you like there. Okay, right. Yeah, right. If you like dealing with security rather than the product itself. Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So it may be that Deno is solving a problem that people rarely come across. I don't know. I saw a video headline that said, "Is this the end of Node?" Yeah, exactly. They do that because they're just trying to drum up views, and they want to get young developers very nervous. Oh no, my skills all wasted. Doesn't work that way. Some say framework is going to replace programmer. What a load of BS. That is a load of BS for sure. They're just productivity tools. Truth is, nothing changes. You know what, Vikrant, I have to say there's a lot of truth to that because let me tell you, all the new stuff that I'm seeing now, like React, is just variations of things that I've seen in the past, evolutions. But if you're not aware of these things in the past, then they're new to you. All right, how are we doing for time? All right, we're going to go to about 25, 30 minutes, and then I'm out of here. I personally choose to stick with vanilla.js coupled with PHP. Yeah, well, PHP works, that's a very valid solution. StudioWeb is, it's not, it's Node. It's not Node, excuse me. It's Laravel. All right, what's going on there? What's going on? Should I focus more on Flutter and Dartfish here? Well, depends. Look at the job opportunities. If you know Flutter and Dart and you like doing that kind of coding, then maybe it's something to do that. Is it true that you're like 578 years old? No, I'm not that old. I'm only 169. I don't know where all these exaggerations come from. ¿Qué pasa, Stef? Hola. See, that's a sure test if somebody's a nerd, if they can do the Vulcan sign instantly. Both hands, double Vulcans. If you can do double Vulcans, you're instantly a nerd. That's the true test. That's a secret nerd handshake. The creator of Deno is the creator of Node. Yeah, or supposedly he's very much involved in it. What is let's see what we got here. What native you enjoy a real peace of mind? I don't know what that means. Okay, let's see. Let's go on. Let's skip through. How are we doing? Okay, who gave me a thumbs down? Hey, I only have 145 thumbs up, 165. Come on, guys. All right. Just kidding. Do what you want. Here we go. Robot Slavic is correct. Reject is a pain to learn, but it is a superpower. Indeed it is. In fact, my developers, when they get into the intermediate level with me, I literally hand them this book. Hey, guy, there you go. Learn this, because it's such an important tool. Again, you probably only use it 3 or 4% at a time, but it really is. Do you do portfolio reviews? For my mentorship group, I do. I would do it for everybody if I could stay up 24 hours, 7 days a week and not have anything else to do in my life. I would love to review everybody's portfolio, but I'm just very time constrained like everybody else. Yes, my mentees, people in my mentoring group, shameless plug, do get that amongst everything else. Being a beginner, shall I go for Node or Deno? Go for Node because it's established. We don't know what will happen to Deno. And anyway, I'm sure Deno is so similar to Node. If you're a Node expert, you could probably learn Deno in a day, if not a few hours. Our Firebase and MongoDB, if yes, should I learn first? Which one should I learn first? It depends on the jobs. Look at the job opportunities and learn where the jobs are. But you're probably going to find it's going to be PHP, MySQL. But it might be that, just let the markets dictate where you're going to go. See, PHP is the way to go, at least in my area. Yeah. Would you recommend starting with full stack or try to master a specific aspect? I would go full stack because it gives you a lot of opportunities, a lot of jobs. You can easily pivot freelance, all kinds of different things. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Dee and Colleen, I think they're having a conversation. When you make money or have success as a woman, most men back off because the usual dynamic starts to get wacky. I learned for myself that's the best. And there you go. As a man, I've never experienced that. So perhaps that's the case. So if you have money, keep it secret. Do you do functional programming? I do not. It's not I could look into it, I suppose. I might look into it this year just so I can talk about it. Now I'm more procedural and object-oriented mostly. Do you have an opinion on styled JSX versus styled components in React development? This is quite the heated topic in my workplace. No, I'm sorry, guy. I don't have any comment about that. All right. So good question. Functional versus OOP. Functional programming versus... I think that OOP is by far the most dominant. I think I get the impression that functional is more niche-y. I'm sure it does certain things better. And I've seen people argue that procedural is better than OOP sometimes. And that could be the case. Simple projects, very simple projects, few lines of code, procedural would be better because it's just easier. Unless you expect it to expand. Depends on what you're doing. But generally, OOP is dominant by far. Hi, Stefan. Are you planning to update your courses or creating new ones? The classic courses, I update them. Well, classic. The foundational courses, I update them when I need to. So HTML5 foundations, etc. I'm going to need to update much because the basics don't change, right? But I do plan to create new courses coming forward this year that complement. Again, my My goal is not to teach this, this, and this, and this technology. My goal is to prepare you guys so that you can go out there and get jobs, start businesses, be freelancers. And believe it or not, it's not learning 20 different frameworks. It's basics and a few other things. How do you maintain the websites for freelance clients or just cut them loose after the project is done? That all depends on what you negotiate. Check out my freelance course. I teach you all that. There we go. We're going to flies on the walls, boys. We're listening to what women think. Men use financial independence as a power tool. Once that goes away, it's not interesting for them. There you go. I think insecure men will use that as a power tool, perhaps. So I have a dating requirement. The women I date have to have a certain net worth. If they don't have a certain net worth, not interested. Steph, I'll send you my profile link on live chat so you can take a look at it, or don't do that on streams? I haven't done it on streams, and I'm not going to do that unless if you're a mentee, if you're in the mentorship group, I'll do that. Do it privately. I've never done that live streams. Okay. Okay. A couple more questions, then we got to go. Hi, Steph. Is it okay as a beginner to watch tutorial how to do something while I build my project? Why not? Why not? Right now, if you have to, for example, create a login system, you've never done it, go watch a tutorial on how to create a login system. They'll teach you a way to do a login system. By the way, when you learn to be a coder, there are 155 ways to do the same thing, right? All right, let's go here. My school wants me to design a student site for them, and my friends wants to help me build a site, trying to get real-world experience as I'm learning Python, Django. Fantastic. Daniel, 100% do that. 100% do that. Learn to communicate what the school needs, figure out what they want, interview the stakeholders, the people who are going to say yes or no to the project. Learn that interaction. That's a big part about being a coder. You have to actually talk to people. Hamza, do you seriously write your regex by yourself, Stefan? I'm seriously always use an online regex tool. I used to. My regex skills are pretty rusty now, but yeah, I used to write my own regex. After a while, you get pretty good at it. You know, you start seeing the symbols, and you get those regex nerd eyes. Hey, Steph, I'm a CS student, and I'm starting with Java. I want to know at this time, Java big deal or not? Java is still huge. In terms of being used in the workforce, huge. It's still huge in the top 3 or 4 languages, depending on which survey or list you look at. All right, guys, it's been 30 minutes. We're going to cut it short. Well, not short. 30 minutes is long enough. Okay, what's he say here? Since Stefan recommends every time to drink a lot of water, now I am forced to take a break. Peace so much. 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what? I'm going to end with that. That's a good one to end with. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. And I'll be doing a little less video work in the next week or 2 because I'm moving. I'm already starting the whole process now. So quite busy. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. Let me know in the comments if you did, and we shall talk soon.